You're cruising at 35,000 feet. Outside your window, the air pressure is roughly 3.5 pounds per square inch, less than a quarter of what your lungs need. An 8-pound per square inch pressure differential pushes outward on every square inch of that window panel. So what actually happens if a plane window fails at this altitude? The answer is surprising. It starts with understanding why the window holds in the first place. At 35,000 feet, the air outside a commercial jet is thin enough to make breathing impossible without help. The pressure at sea level is about 14.7 pounds per square inch, but at cruise altitude, the outside pressure drops to just 3.5 pounds per square inch. Inside the cabin, though, things feel normal. That is because the aircraft's environmental control system maintains a cabin pressure equivalent to what you would experience at 8,000 feet above sea level. This is not sea level comfort, but it is enough for most people to breathe easily without supplemental oxygen. The pressure inside the cabin at this altitude sits around 10.9 pounds per square inch, about 75% of sea level pressure. This difference between the inside and outside, roughly 7 to 8 pounds per square inch, is what keeps the airplane's structure under constant load during flight. Every square inch of the fuselage, and especially the windows, has to hold back this force. The reason jets do not simply keep the cabin at sea level pressure is structural. The higher the pressure inside compared to outside, the more stress on the airframe and its weakest points. Regulations like CFR Part 25 limit the maximum pressure differential to protect both passengers and the aircraft itself. Most commercial jets are certified for a maximum differential of about 8 or 9 pounds per square inch. The cabin altitude concept helps explain why you can sit comfortably at 35,000 feet without feeling the effects of the thin external air. While the world outside the window is at a pressure your lungs cannot use, the cabin remains a safe, pressurized bubble. It is this engineered difference, 10.9 pounds per square inch inside and 3.5 pounds per square inch outside, that sets the stage for every decision in window and fuselage design. If that barrier is breached, the pressure will try to equalize instantly, which is why the strength of every window matters so much. The numbers are not just technical details, they are the foundation of safety at altitude. A commercial jet window is a carefully engineered barrier, built to withstand the constant pressure difference between the cabin and the sky outside. The system begins with the outer pane, crafted from toughened acrylic or polycarbonate, measuring 2 to 3 millimeters thick. This is the structural backbone clamped directly to the aircraft's frame and taking the full brunt of cabin pressure. It faces everything from ultraviolet rays to flying debris, enduring thousands of cycles as the plane climbs and descends. Its strength is no accident. Manufacturers test it to survive at least 2.5 times the highest pressure it will ever encounter in flight. Just behind sits the middle pane, made from similar high-strength plastic. Its job is different. A tiny vent, only about 0.4 to 0.6 millimeters wide, connects the space between the outer and middle panes to the cabin. This breather hole lets air flow freely, equalizing pressure so the middle pane stays load-free during normal flight. If the outer pane ever cracks, the middle pane is ready to step in and take over the pressure load instantly. This design means a single cracked pane is not a catastrophe. The backup is always in place and quietly waiting. Closest to the passengers is the inner pane, often called the scratch pane. It is the thinnest layer, sometimes less than a millimeter thick, and it does not hold pressure at all. Instead, it shields the structural panes from everyday mishaps, bumps, scratches, spilled drinks, or a child's curious hands pressed against the window. It also acts as a final barrier, keeping fingers away from the pressurized layers beyond. The breather vent serves another purpose. It prevents condensation from forming between the panes. Without it, moisture could fog the window or create uneven pressure that stresses the structure. Regular maintenance checks ensure the vent stays clear and the seals remain tight, guarding against hidden weaknesses. Every detail in this triple-pane system is there for a reason. The outer pane bears the load, the middle pane stands by as a backup, and the inner pane protects against cabin life. The vent, though barely visible, is essential to the window's reliability. What looks simple from a seat is, in reality, a layered defense, built so that even a single crack will not threaten the safety of everyone on board. A sudden breach in the pressurized cabin is not just a structural event, it starts a race against the body's limits. The first cues are unmistakable: a sharp bang, a rush of wind, and a sudden drop in temperature. Within seconds, fog may fill the cabin as the warm, moist air meets the freezing outside. At 35,000 feet, the air holds only a quarter of the oxygen found at sea level. When the pressure drops, the partial pressure of oxygen in your blood plummets. The body's warning signs, such as tingling fingers, tunnel vision, and confusion, can appear in as little as 30 to 90 seconds. At 40,000 feet, that window closes to just 15 to 20 seconds. This is the time of useful consciousness. The brief interval before hypoxia makes clear thinking, and even basic action, impossible. That is why oxygen masks deploy automatically when cabin altitude exceeds 14,000 feet. The system is designed to react in seconds, dropping masks for every passenger. Pilots have their own quick donning masks, and they are required by regulation to secure them within 5 seconds of a decompression alarm. This is not a guideline, it is a standard built into every airline operating procedure. With masks on, the next step is immediate. Pilots begin a rapid descent, aiming for 3,000 to 6,000 feet per minute to reach breathable air, usually targeting 10,000 feet as quickly as the aircraft can safely descend. In 2 to 3 minutes, the danger of hypoxia fades, replaced by the steady, controlled environment the cabin was built to maintain. Every second counts, and every response, from mask deployment to emergency descent, is calibrated to beat the clock. Real-world incidents show what happens when a window or fuselage fails under pressure, and how engineering and training make survival possible. On April 17, 2018, Southwest Airlines Flight 1380 was cruising at 32,500 feet when a fractured engine fan blade sent debris through a cabin window. The breach measured about 16 by 10 inches. Cabin pressure dropped in less than a second. A passenger seated beside the window was partially ejected and did not survive, but the crew performed an emergency descent and landed safely in Philadelphia. Investigators found that the triple-pane window design and rapid response prevented further loss of life. On June 10, 1990, British Airways Flight 5390 lost its left cockpit windshield at 17,300 feet. The captain was sucked halfway out and was held only by his crew for nearly 20 minutes, while the first officer descended to safety. Despite the violent decompression, the aircraft remained controllable. The AAIB traced the cause to improperly installed bolts, an error that led to new inspection standards worldwide. On May 14, 2018, Sichuan Airlines Flight 8633 experienced a sudden windshield failure at 33,000 feet. The cockpit was instantly exposed to sub-zero winds and thin air. The pilots, wearing oxygen masks, manually flew the Airbus A319 down to 10,000 feet in under 3 minutes. All 128 people on board survived thanks to quick action and the structural redundancy built into the design. Aloha Airlines Flight 243 stands as perhaps the most dramatic example. In 1988, a Boeing 737-200 lost an 18-foot section of its upper fuselage at 24,000 feet. The roof peeled away, leaving the passenger cabin open to the sky. Despite the massive breach, the pilots kept control and landed the plane. Only one fatality occurred, a flight attendant who was standing near the rupture. The rest of the passengers and crew survived. Across these cases, the pattern is clear. Even when windows or large sections of fuselage fail at altitude, the aircraft structure holds together. Rapid decompression is dangerous, but modern jets are built to withstand localized damage, giving crews the time they need to bring everyone down safely. Today, every commercial jet you board is engineered for the unlikely, with triple-pane windows, pressure sensors, and rapid descent protocols that stand between a breach and disaster. The true risk remains rare, but understanding it arms you with facts, not fear.
In air travel, knowledge is always the best reassurance.